Assalamu alaikum. The questioner is asking, what are the contributions of Muslims in nation building? And there's a lot of information on this. I had ChatGPT do a little bit of a summary on it, and he split up in a couple sections here. We'll go over a couple of them. One, with regards to education and knowledge, Muslims have historically founded schools, universities, libraries such as Al Qarayan University in Morocco and Al Azhar University in Egypt, which have been vital in fostering knowledge and intellectual development during the Islamic Golden Age. The technological advancement and technological discoveries, scientific discoveries, were based in the Islamic nation. So the preservation and translation of knowledge as well during the Islamic Golden Age, Muslim scholars preserved and translated works of Greek, Roman, Indian, Persian civilizations, making them accessible to the world. With regards to science technology, contributions to fields like mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and engineering have profoundly influenced global progress. Scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra, Ibn Sina, Avicenna, and Ibn al-Haytham made groundbreaking discoveries and laid the foundation for modern science. During that time, Europe was going through a dark age, right? Kind of like how the Muslim world's kind of going through its dark age right now. There's tons of infighting and wars. There's not enough room today in a lot of Muslim areas to be able to nation build, but I'll get more on that later. Economic development, Muslims played a vital role in trade, commerce, economic development in their respective nations, contributing to financial stability and prosperity. Ethical principles in Islamic finance, such as avoiding exploitation and promoting fairness, have enriched global economy systems. As you know, people who live under an Islamic law will benefit the most. They'll be able to keep the most of their money, as the Messenger ﷺ said in one of the hadiths. Implementing even one had, one punishment that Allah mentions in the Quran or the Sunnah, has more blessing than 40 days of rain. And this is because when you establish justice and people are able to earn more of their money, they can spend more in charity, they can invest more of it, they don't have to rely on debt. Like in the West right now, the government works against its people, tries to make them debt slaves, right? Through interest-based loans. Interest would be banned under Islamic law, so no one would remain a debt slave. If you look at what usury is, or interest, it's insurance, it's the student loan interest that you have to pay for 30 plus years, it's the mortgage. Mortgage is an usury payment. Under an Islamic law government, without these in the way, these things push the price up of everything, and it continues to push it up for an endless amount of time as long as the interest is there. Inflation won't happen. People save more and are able to spend more. Everyone owns things. They don't just rent. We're not a renter's nation under Islamic law. So establishing that type of system is what led to the prosperity of the people. And people are wondering, why isn't the Muslim world today that rich and better off? It's because they're not implementing these Islamic laws. They're actually implementing the same thing that's being implemented in the West, which is secular law. It's not they're not Islamic countries. They're Muslim majority countries, but they're not Islamic countries. Going on here, social cohesion. Muslims have contributed to social harmony by emphasizing values of justice, charity, and equality. The concept of zakat charity and jizya charity and endowment have supported welfare programs, education, and healthcare systems. As you know, today, a lot of the money that's going to these starving areas in Muslim countries, even non-Muslim countries, even here in America, we had a lot of donations for victims of the recent hurricanes here in the South that hit South Carolina, for example. A lot of that was from the charity of the Muslims, because in Islam, we believe charity doesn't decrease wealth, but rather it increases wealth, whereas we believe interest decreases wealth. Even though it looks like you're getting money from interest, you're actually losing the blessing of your money and being able to enjoy it. So the Muslim gives more than he needs to, right? We've had Muslims give all their money in charity before, half their money in charity, 20% of their money, I know a guy who had no more than $3,000, and he gave $1,000 in charity and got a six-figure job right after that, and before that he had a 60K job. So the religion encourages giving, right? And as mentioned earlier, the justice, you don't have to go through multiple years of trials. All disputes are handled on the same day that they're brought up. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Going forward here, cultural contributions, art, architecture, literature influenced by Islamic civilization has enriched global cultures such as the Taj Mahal, the Alhambra, the Dome of the Rock, and exemplify Muslim contributions to architectural heritage. Um, and Islamic calligraphy and poetry have inspired creativity and cultural diversity. Like the Muslim people are very poetic. If you've read some of their poems, I'm not too much into poems myself. I can't quote some of their poets, but I know for a fact that a lot of the best poets of all time come from the regions where Muslims are. Political leadership, many Muslim leaders have actively worked towards national unity, justice, and independence in various countries. They have promoted dialogue, tolerance, and understanding between communities within diverse societies. So acts like a unifying force between different ethnicities, genders, races. As you can see in Mecca, for example, in Dubai, completely diverse. 80% of the UAE isn't even Emirati Muslims. So, and they do implement some Islamic law, not all of it. Just imagine if they implemented all of it. Even Afghanistan, it's like a refuge for Muslims around the world. There's tons of different diverse Muslims in Afghanistan: Tajikis, Pakistanis, Iranian, Syrian, Arab, Uyghurs, all are living in harmony there. Well, why doesn't it work in a non-Muslim country? Why are they shouting against the immigrants coming there and helping their country prosper, right? If done correctly, that is. In Islam, we don't encourage mass immigration. We encourage immigration to areas if those areas can handle it. We're not trying to replace people in those areas. So that's another thing. And humanitarian efforts, Muslim, as I mentioned earlier, organizations like Islamic Relief USA and MATWA, etc., an individual contribute to disaster relief, poverty alleviation, and healthcare initiatives, exemplifying their commitment to social welfare and global peace. So, and we could look at today, even today, there's a lot of Muslim countries contributing to science, like the cloud seeding that's happening right now. It's one of the most important technologies that is being created right now, being able to create clouds above the sky, making it rain wherever you want. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that towards the end of time, the Arabian Peninsula will return back to being greens and meadows like it was before. Right now it's like a desert, right? Cloud seeding can change that. Technology can change that. Let's say an area is suffering drought, cloud seeding can change that. And a lot of these discoveries that are happening in the West they're not giving credit to the people on the team who are Muslim as well. The credit goes entirely to the person who's funding it. It could be, some American or some Jew or something funding the whole thing. He has nothing to do with the research itself. That research team is made up of different ethnicities, races, etc., genders and as well, but they don't get the credit. So don't always believe that, this person invented this specific thing today. No, he just funded that. So we have to make that clear distinction. It's a small summary of how Muslims contribute to nation building. So hopefully I answered the question. Assalamu alaikum.